Hello and welcome to this special edition of Express Pharma-Nutrify Today Boardroom series, which is focused on the Nutrify C Suite Sumflex innovation battlefield. This is tipped to be probably India's first nutraceutical-only equity for investing in bidding initiative, and the registrations are already open. Over 100 startups or so are expected to qualify and expected to bid for the 5 crore investments that are being put up by the Growth Guardians. Today we introduce you to one of the 6 Growth Guardians who will be judging the merit of the contestants. Dr. Anand Swaroop is a biochemist, founder and president of the evidence-based nutritional ingredient supplier Cepham and co-founder of Nutrify Today. A trained scientist turned entrepreneur, he has a decade of experience in the pharma sector before switching to the natural product sector, where he again has about 2 decades of experience. He's also a member of the task force constituted by the Government of India in 2021 to recommend steps towards the development of the nutraceutical sector in India and worldwide for Ayurvedic products. Dr. Anand, welcome to Nutrify Today's show.
Thank you for having me.
So Cepham is a US-based nutraceutical ingredients provider, and it has over 4 decades of experience in the Ayurvedic ingredient research and formulation, innovative formulation. So you know what it is to be an entrepreneur in the evidence-backed nutraceutical space. What are the qualities that you're going to be looking for in the 100-odd nominations that you all are going to receive for the innovation battlefield?
So Viveka, I'm very excited about this venture in India. As a potential investor and a background in biological science, and I have been, there was a time in my life I was also a startup owner. I started all these things one by one, and what I am looking for a very specific point. So I am definitely looking for a scientific validity. So I prioritize products or services which are backed by robust scientific research or scientific concept, which can be basically scalable. I'm looking for something which is having a very clear market demand and unmet need in the place. And I'm of course looking for innovation. Idea has to be very innovative, have the potential to disrupt the industry. Equally important is the entrepreneurial team behind that. A person, a team. I place a very high value on that because any small idea, it needs a dedicated team and a kind of passion behind it. I'm also looking for something which is, having a clear evidence about scalability. It should be scalable. Through different channels, where we can actually bring in other expertise from outside and scale it up. The idea has to be somehow the regulatory in compliance with regulations out there, just not India, Asia, maybe potentially globally regulatory compliant. And what kind of marketing and branding idea the innovator have behind everything. They might not have the entire thing completely ready, but if there is some idea behind it, that will really help us or me to decide individually that this is a good idea worth investing.
Great. So those are all very great points that need to be in the innovator's toolkit. But looking back on your journey as an entrepreneur in this sector, what are the common challenges and pitfalls that startups like yourself can face, and what's your advice to them? I'm sure that the startup, ecosystem has changed from when you, were an startup entrepreneur to today. And today there are a lot of funding innovation systems that have changed.
Yeah, when I look back about 30, 40 years of time I spent in this space, pharma and nutraceutical. Most of the things have changed, the dynamic of market have changed, but there's some things which remain constant all these years. I would say when I was starting new ideas, I always look back and I said, you should have a healthy balance of confidence and humility. Sometimes you think of an idea, it looks very great, but you need to basically, taste your own idea with kind of critique that is going to fly or not. One thing which is more easily available now is actually thorough market research and competitive analysis. Data is easily available. The tools are easily available to do this kind of work, which was not, true in my time. It was very hard to get, market analysis and competitive analysis done. Equally important, which I think, is how you allocate your resources effectively. In a startup, you are bootstrapping everything. So how to really find this? It's a fine balance. It might not be possible in each and every case, but you strive for that. Startups are a very small team, and they always lack this management bandwidth. And what I found that the most critical part is your burnout, because you try to do everything yourself, and you don't really realize this thing that there's a burnout which affects the other critical parts of your business. You have to look very clearly the compliances of new idea or new product you're creating. Is going to be compliant to the existing rules where your target markets are. Very critical for you also to understand, as a startup owner, that are you going to, your scalability is too quick or too slow? Both are not good. And then most critical part of it, lack of differentiation. You have to create something which at least have an idea of a differentiating product or innovation out there. Then basically you're looking for all the above, it's gonna fly in time.
Great. So what do you think of startups coming out of India and Asia in the holistic health sector? We have a very rich tradition across Asia of traditional medicine. Do you see startups leveraging this treasure house of traditional medicine systems in the right manner? Are they able to, kind of marry those and the kind of evidence that is required to put it through that global compliance route?
India and Asia actually present a unique opportunity. If you look at the population of India and Asia, you're looking at about 2 billion people, most of them young. And there are very stark nutritional gaps out there. And a good health start early on. You want to look for a productive workforce, you have to look at nutritional needs in a very young age, somewhere between 20 to 30 years, where they need that proper nutrition and, micronutrients and, looking at different parts of nutrition to make them healthy mentally and physically. So that produces a unique opportunity. Second unique opportunity which I'm seeing there is acceptance of traditional system of medicine. So you have a younger population who believes in system of medicine, which is there for multiple years because they've learned it from their fathers, their uncles, their families, their moms. It's there in the culture. Now, the startup, what I'm started seeing in last 2 or 3 years, which is really a remarkable thing, that they are marrying the traditional science with evidence now. They're using modern tools which are available to them, and it is very heartening to see that the kind of efforts I'm seeing, that the efforts of data, efforts of science, efforts of evidence which is being used by startups in India, and that is going to be far-reaching, just not for India, just not for Asia. It's going to be global, because with the advent of this internet and availability of search engine to everybody and having a smartphone in everybody's hand, everybody is actually looking for data and science and evidence, and there everybody's all these consumers, they're questioning that if you're putting a product out, it's going to work for me or not. So it's very critical for startups to look into science part. And then there are things like the startup culture is also helping a lot to create awareness in the marketplace. If you look at traditionally available superfoods in India, there was no emphasis put on that before, but now slowly it's coming back. People are, startups and smaller companies are putting emphasis on superfood, eating healthy, eating local, and that's a great, way of looking at nutritional need of people in a very affordable manner. and that is sustainable, affordable, reachable to masses, and that's where you can scale up and you can actually, grow bigger from a startup.
So, as I see it, what you're talking about is the coming together of two worlds, which is the old world wisdom and the new age science and data, bringing them both together on one platform and taking it to the next level, right? So, what's the criteria actually that you all are going to be judging the value of innovation in holistic health, health tech? So many kinds of startups that are going to be applying for these innovation battlefield awards.
So, if I had to just, put this in three words, I would say potential impact, effectiveness, and market viability. We just that's my, kind of to go to three things. If idea or a product which is, creating a potential impact is effective and market viable, it's basically, shows potential. Of course, you have to look for things like scientific evidence. You need to have, you don't need to do a full-fledged clinical trial. You have to produce a proof of concept. You have to produce a proof of concept. You have to, if you have a smaller clinical, which is statistically significant, is good. If you have publication, nothing like it. If you have proven safety somehow, it is great. Even if you have mechanism of action, which you propose, which looks feasible or plausible using your data analysis and just looking at the publications, it's great because then you do have a scientific evidence. Even if you don't have a proven scientific evidence, it shows that you have the aptitude to go towards it. The second thing, if it is meeting an unmet need out there, it is consumer centric. Even a small thing like a new delivery format, because just like any other things, nutrition also needs compliance. If I ask you to take a vitamin, you have to take it every day, same time. It needs to build in your blood to basically affect, and so compliance is very critical. So if you find a way to which is accessibility, affordability, and convenience, you're looking at a great product and idea. Cost effectiveness is going to be super important because you're looking at Asia, you're looking at India, where spare income is very low. People spend money, for daily needs, and then you are trying to sell them a nutrition product. It has to be super accessible and cost effective. It should be scalable in the terms of Asia. If a product really flies big time, you should be able to make it for millions and millions of people. It's a whole different kind of paradigm. You're not looking at creating maybe 100,000 bottles. You're looking at creating millions of bottles. Can you scale it up? Do you have capability? Do you have the raw material availability? Is your raw material sustainable? So you have to look at all these things. It's a very critical to look in a very Asia-centric thing. Of course, you have to look at, most of these markets are regulatory strict. So you have to look for compliance. You have to look for, and if you can find a way where you can integrate with existing system, things which are getting popular in India, wearables, electronic health records, they're going to be picking up very fast in Asia because adaptation is going to be very fast. So is your innovation is going to be meeting one of these things, if we can basically integrate it somehow. So again, you're looking at a great idea that you have an idea which is going to basically combine with these electronic health records are wearable. So you find a new way of looking at things, and also something which is a demonstrated market demand. And you look at things like in India, the most popular things which are selling in India are small pouches. If you go to any shop, you can buy a shampoo or oil or anything in a small pouch, which is 50 paisa or a rupee a pouch. Can we create a vitamin which sells in a pouch? If I have a spare money that day, I'll go and buy that. So these are all basic ideas which are very demonstrated market demand or need out there. What is selling today? Just look at that and create something out of that. So these are all things which I think will be more, we are looking at these criteria. Who is fulfilling these things is actually worth investing and scaling it up.
Okay. So, what happens after the innovation battlefield, which is on June 6th and 7th? You've kind of chosen your, the people who won the battlefield, and you all have invested a certain amount in them. So, are you all going to track them? How are you all going to track them? How are you all going to mentor them? What's your thoughts on that?
Working with an innovator, working with a startup, it basically, in my opinion, it again entails three critical things. First thing is strategic guidance. With all my experience and what I learned in my field, I can provide them, help them to create that strategy, that how to really grow up in that thing. Mentorship is very critical. There are things which I can see. Startup doing things very passionately, but then you need to basically mentor them. And mentoring is not required, even from my table. I can actually find them a good mentor and connect them. Financial support is critical. So strategic planning, mentoring, coaching is very critical. Then also they'll have access to my network, which is, I developed in 35 years. It's a global network. So if it's an idea worth scaling up, they have access to my entire network, and we can talk to my network and figure out if we have a need for that, and we can scale it up. Very critical, that feedback and validation. What you're doing, I can look at from a new fresh set of eyes and validate your idea, and then also give you feedback that I think you're not really going right direction. And it's an open exchange, it's back and forth talk just to figure it out. And also, I think my role will be more like resource allocation. So this is what we've got, this is what, investment you got, and how to allocate this to get a real success. So these are the basic areas I think I'll be working with a potential investee in this field, and try to make sure that they succeed.
Great. And to close this conversation, what are the most promising segments in the holistic health, nutra and functional food section that you're looking at as an investor entrepreneur, and that you find interesting, not just for India but globally as well?
So globally, there are certain trends which are going, all around the world, and we are looking at them very critically at this time. As you know, nutrition is an ever-evolving thing. It keeps on changing very fast. So there are certain themes which I'm sticking to. So there are certain themes which I think they're very important, moving forward, which, so to say, a crystal ball. So plant-based nutrition. It's going to take total center stage. Anything you create, look into plant-based alternatives for everything. Personalized nutrition is going to stay. It's not going away. They have a hype, there's a fall, but it's going to stay. It's not going anywhere. Women's health has taken center stage. It was underrepresented, underserved. And then finally, it has got, kind of, space it deserved, and in the entire space is taking a center stage. Functional beverages, they are going to lead the way. Gut health and gut-brain axis is going to be dominating a lot of things. Anti-aging and everything connected to age-related diseases is going to, again, be very important in the next few years to come. Adaptogens, new adaptogens, not looking at the old ones, but adaptogens and stress management, they'll have their own role. Beauty from within, it's going to stay in this market. Functional snacks and convenience food, with a very clear emphasis to cultural roots. It's taking space. I mean, I was out in Expo West this year, and I could not believe seeing so many what we call ethnic foods and ethnic flavors taking a center stage now. So if you think that, pav bhaji is a very Indian flavor, not anymore. It's become a global flavor. It's amazing, complex flavor, and the world have not seen that. So if you're trying to develop something like that, there's a way for it. So, these are things, traditional Ayurvedic and herbal remedies will be taking more higher, kind of space down, this development path. leaving the traditional 20-25 products, which almost all Indian companies are focusing on. You have to look beyond that. There are 6,000 herbs. Look at evidence. Region-specific superfoods. They're going to be playing a huge important role now. And all ingredients with cultural significance and health benefits. They'll be super important. So these are things which I always call, this is my crystal ball for next few years. And then that's where, I'll be focusing my research and my investment money on.
Great. And so look forward to meeting up with you again at the Innovation Battlefield in June this year, and also looking to see who are you going to put your money on. So thank you for the conversation, Dr. Anand.
Thank you, Viveka. Thank you.